It is currently close to 3 a.m. I'm very tired, but I want to get a video ready for tomorrow. So, because of that, instead of going to bed, I'm going to stay up late and record this so that it'll be ready and I don't have to be stressing out about not having a video tomorrow or today. I'm tired. Okay. I'm gonna try not to yawn too much. And we're just gonna do these bonds, because that'll make a reasonable video. Hopefully. 2 esteemed captains in the Delian army, now deserters. How in the Black Abyss did this happen? We weren't so esteemed after we added stop a village from being razed by bandits to our itinerary. Remember that? I do. And what great use that memory is to me now. Never said it would be.
No.
No, you didn't. Look, Varric's not the man he was when either of us enlisted. We both know that. True, but he's still king.
Ugh.
Why should that mean anything when he's broken every oath he's ever uttered? Then the crown has lost its weight. It feels like an understatement.
Troubling.
I don't know. If Sterling felt the same way, he'd be with us right now. There must be more to the story. Well, whatever it is, we're staying loyal to our oath to protect Varric's subjects, even if he isn't. He once taught me the difference between fidelity and blind loyalty, remember? Huh. Good to know you're paying attention. Now and again. They are adorable together. Oh, Benji. You were lucky we were around to pull you out of that one, kiddo. The aqueducts? Oh, yeah.
No way!
You were lucky Benji was holding down the fort when you showed up. Is that what Benji was doing?
Simple!
Yeah. Arches weren't destroyed when you got there, were they? Not completely, but we also got there pretty quick. Well, you never know how it would have played out otherwise. I think I have an idea. That can put you in a whole lot of trouble, getting big
How
ideas.
cute!
Better to avoid them for the most part, right? Ideas, generally. Right. Or, well, there's a lot starting to make sense here. It's just something my dad used to say. Not too far from the tree, huh? I want to be like him in a lot of ways. That's part of why I'm so excited to fight with all of you. I want to carry his armor to new battles and new heights of glory. Well, try not to be like him too much, if we can help it. Let's avoid you ending up with a debilitating injury. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. One idea you could put up with? Yeah, I think so. Well, this is awkward.
Huh?
A bit, maybe. Think we've ever met in battle before?
Not likely.
Could pretty much guarantee we haven't.
What now?
And how's that? We're both still here. Oh, right. Because if we had, you would have easily killed me, right? Bianca, what do you know of the lull? That they have the biggest egos on Etlin, apparently. Allow me to expand your knowledge. They... Yeah, I know. Most elite task force in most elite task force King Darius has. That's what you were going to say? More or less.
Well...
You should also know that they don't retreat. They either succeed on their mission or die trying. So if I was ever assigned to your battle group, one of us would not be standing here.
Huh?
It is certainly a useful bit of intel about Eramore's more clandestine operations. Thanks for sharing, Caius. You're really going to pass that along? Come on, Caius. I thought you'd play a little harder to get. Yes, well, you didn't strike me as one for games. Ha! Learn that lesson the hard way. Indeed. Can you believe how far we've come since Duskwater? It doesn't feel like that long. Of course I can believe it. It's the grand adventure I'd always yearned for. I knew I would get it someday. Uh-huh. You know, it's alright to get a little homesick. I do. I miss my mom and pop sometimes. But there wasn't much in Duskwater to miss. Why would I be homesick? Home doesn't need to be interesting or fun. It's a place of safety. A place you can be comfortable. A lot of cold comfort coming our way recently. Yeah, things have been a little rocky. Does it mean I'm ready to go running home to Mama? No, I wouldn't think so. Just want to check in and see where your head is. On my shoulders, last I checked. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. You and I are really one older brother away from being the same person. How do you mean? You've lived in a small town that you felt wasn't big enough for what you wanted out of life. So did I. Without my brother moving us to Sojourn, I may still be there. You're braver than I ever was. I didn't know about that. You're sort of like a rock to me. You're sort of like a rock to me. I look to you to know how to act. You would have much better manners if that were really the case. No, I do. Not when we're sitting around or traveling, obviously, but when things get tense. You know that world better than I do. Well, not for long. You're learning fast, and we've seen more than our fair share of conflict already. I've got a feeling we won't be seeing the end of that anytime soon. I think we all have that feeling. ... You really look to me? More than I'd care to admit, actually. Wow, that's a weird feeling, honestly. I don't know how to feel about it. Next time we're in mortal danger, and you feel a little heat at the back of your head, that's me staring at you. It's creepy, really.
Oh, cute!
I'd say a lot of things could describe you, Sia. Creepy is not one of them. You really make me feel like a better soldier, you know. So much better than a soldier, and don't let old Lincoln tell you any different. He cares in his own way. Thank you for confiding in me, Sia. I'm glad we've had this talk. We had this talk. Sure thing, Captain. Goodness gracious. You still don't trust us, do you? Why hit me? I've devoted years of my life to uncovering and thwarting every imaginable plot of your families. I do not hope you'll forgive me for having my reservations. Has what happened at Red Hill done nothing to change your mind? Whatever your intentions, I imagine were of little use to you dead. On the contrary, I think my uncle would be quite pleased to know we'd brought an end to some of Delia's fiercest soldiers. I assume that was supposed to comfort me? Look, if you really feel this is some sinister ploy, I'll not hold you against your will. You and your friends are free to return to Delia whenever you please. But outside of our protection, I cannot promise no harm will come to you. And inside of your protection,
I'd be honored.
I can only promise to value your lives as my own. A generous offer. You need only give me the chance to prove it's true. If anything's certain, I'm sure the road ahead will provide plenty of opportunities.
Of course.
Then you'll see I'm a woman of my word.
Indeed.
I'll be watching closely. You can rest assured of that. Good. We all need someone watching our backs. Finally, fair to say we're in over our heads. More than usual. True enough. I'm still not sure how you plan to explain this to our family, but it keeps things exciting, I suppose. I prefer a little less excitement and a few more answers myself. That'll come, in time, and after some more excitement. That's what I'm worried about.
Are you sure?
Really? What for? Take a look around. Irving, Elias, Bianca, they trust us now. At least more than they did. Even Lincoln's starting to come around, and they're certainly capable people. Well, I'm not sure if any of us are capable enough. We don't even know what we're up against. You never know until you're actually in the thick of it. Remember that botany study you forgot about until the day our tutor came to visit?
Unbelievable.
Of course I remember. Even with everything else on my mind, I still have nightmares about it. Ha! Incredible. I don't think a word you said about that plant were true, but you spoke with such confidence. I bet he's still putting its leaves in his tea as a sleep remedy. I was right about the blossoms. They're pink. I checked. Of course you did. Well, anyway, I see your point. And in an ideal world, you're right. There's nothing to worry about, and these are baseless doubts. I just hope that's the world we live in. Either way, we'll find out soon enough.
We must.
That we will. Your friends seem to trust you very much, Irving. With their lives, even. I'm sure they have good reason to. The Academy trained us all to be leaders as well as soldiers. Then they've trained you well. I appreciate that. Were you always so eager for war with my people? No, I'm not eager for it even now. A soldier should be eager for war or peace. Only eager to follow commands. Well, an army without obedience is not an army. It would be a raiding party at best, or a mob. Some armies aren't so unlike mobs. Your own kingdoms are better than that. What makes you so sure? They stood down the moment you gave them an order. Their obedience to you saved our lives. And what if I had asked them to tear you limb from limb? And I suspect they would have obeyed as well. It's not a pleasant thought, but you would never do that. Because someone has, in turn, ordered me not to? No. But you're still practicing a type of obedience. You're obedient to your heart, in a way.
Of course.
I can live with that. I think that's what I'm trying to say, actually. Our world would do better to prioritize a higher form of obedience. If it makes the world better, I'm all for it. That was so cheesy. Rowan. Valmiran, to what do I owe the pleasure of this visit?
I'm intrigued.
I've heard much about the beloved Princess of Aramor. I simply wanted to see her myself.
Of course.
This certainly has nothing to do with the communications between Serenity and your father, does it? How do you know of them? How do you? I read her mail as a child, as I'm sure you read Henry's.
You're not half bad.
I guess it takes an heiress to know one. Did it not color your perception of her to hear such treachery? You think Serenity was deliberately suggesting treason? She was a plant from a kingdom... She was a plant from Kingdom Darius. It is no secret that Henry Valmiran is a snake. I suppose I assumed that Serenity was the same way. Easy assumption to come from all I've heard. She's ruthless, and she cares for Aramor greatly, but she is also loyal to the throne, and always has been. Loyalty is a foreign concept in Delia of late. Hard to imagine I'm the only one she fooled. No less than 5 different agents were reading their communications in Delia. You can be sure that the other major noble houses knew. Anyone with half a brain knows that my father craves power. I can't imagine they were surprised.
It's simply politics.
Surprised? No. But hard evidence can be quite damning, as I'm sure you know all too well. So what are you saying? There was a plot against my father? There was. He trampled it long ago. I don't understand how he does it, but your father is a horribly intelligent man. I've been searching for those answers all my life. Brooke, it's good to be back with you. I'm also glad that the people who pay me are alive. Well, and close enough to doing so.
Unbelievable.
How endearing.
Maybe I should raise my rates.
You hired me as a bodyguard. Don't forget. I charge extra for flattery. It's harder. Thanks for the reminder. I wanted to ask, have you seen anything... I'm sorry. Have you seen anything suspicious in your time with the group while they were away? Anything concerning that should be brought to our attention?
Can't trust them.
All that talk of trust was pretty short-lived. I never said I don't trust them. Just so long as you can see them. Seems reasonable enough. Now tell me, what have you seen? Not a whole lot, unfortunately. Most of them are pretty boring. Except for that Garrick, maybe. He's trouble, but the interesting kind. Not the kind you should be worried about. I'd say that's quite fortunate, actually. Well, congratulations, then. Let's hope they prove to be as competent as you expect. We're on a good track in that regard.
Whatever you say.
Maybe. But I wouldn't be opposed to talking to some additional help. Or, excuse me, I wouldn't be opposed to taking on some additional help. Especially if we can get it for free. With all your talk of noble causes, you seem to manage that better than me.
Of course.
Our causes are noble, Brooke. Maybe if you took some time to reflect on it, you'd see that yourself. If that's a trick to convince me to stop charging for my services, it won't work. You really are hopeless. Glad we've established that early on in our relationship. Saves us a lot of trouble. Alright, hold it. I got a long way to go. Gonna get longer and longer. Alden! Hey, I was talking to Sloane recently about mage stuff, you know, and she mentioned something about mages having pets pretty frequently. Really? I didn't know that. Maybe that means I'll get to have a pet after all. Yeah, I think they help them with spells or chores or something. To be honest, I'm not completely sure. I heard they're called familiars? Oh, I know about familiars. Back in the academy, we called them storm spirits. They can be summoned with spells, usually to fight or do some other simple task. Wow, so they're not real animals?
Nope.
Not the way a butter is, but if they're summoned by a well-trained mage, they can look and act like real animals pretty well. That sounds wild. Could you show me one?
Are you sure?
I mean, I could try, but I'm not sure I'm good enough to make it convincing, or make sure it doesn't attack anyone. I wouldn't want it to end up trying to eat butter or something. Yeah, that would not be good. Maybe hold off on that then. I think that's probably safest. Let me tell you this though, Alden. You're a much better mage than you give yourself credit for. Don't tell Sloane I said this, but she trained for a long time to do some of the stuff you've picked up naturally.
Aw, come on.
Come on, there's no way that's true. It is, I swear. Now, I'm not saying you should rest on your laurels, but it might be good to give yourself some credit now and then, especially if you catch yourself feeling discouraged. Thanks, Sophia. Next time I'm feeling down, maybe I'll try that. Of course! I hope it helps. Hey there, big fella. How many times must I insist on respect before you comply? More than you have, apparently. Shame your service in the army was cut short. With a tongue like that, you might have become quite accomplished in chopping vegetables.
It was a joke.
Is that supposed to scare me into submission? I'll have you know, I quite like vegetables.
Disgraceful.
Must you try my patience with every waking moment? Must I? That's a little extreme. Will I? That's an entirely different story. While you're here, we may as well review the last battle and improve. Surprisingly, you did rather well. Surprisingly, I always do well. I think we both know the truth of that. I have no idea what you're talking about. Garrick, in Brookstead, I received a copy of your transcript.
Great.
Can't get away from Galen no matter how far we get from home. Why do you harbor such bitterness towards him? He's an excellent leader. I would have expected his son to take advantage of that and become a warrior of high esteem. Personally, I admire him a great deal. Of course you do. Perhaps that explains why I find both of you so unbearable.
Indeed.
Afraid we might actually hold you accountable to the person... Excuse me. Afraid we might actually hold you accountable to the person you could become? Alright, I think that's around enough... I think that's enough rummaging around in my personal life for one day. What do you think gives you the right, anyway? I'm sorry. Am I getting on your nerves? Yes, point taken. You can play at that game. Well done.
No.
Point missed, rather. I do not wish to play games. I only wish to help you delve into a stellar fighter and commander. And I'd have an easier go of it without your constant pestering. I'm trying to crack a smile out of you. Demonstrate some maturity, and perhaps you may see one.
You're really something.
Alright. See you around, Lincoln. Good day. Oh, yeah, Benji. Benji with all the bitches. Sorry. You sure have a lot of energy, Benji.
Hey, thanks.
Yeah, I get that a lot. My friends used to say that my parents put fertilizer in my breakfast. That's an unpleasant thought. Hey, peak performance takes commitment. Sorry.
Nothing less than the best.
I saw can't argue with that. Apologies. Yep, born and raised. It's a great place. Always something to do.
Really?
Really? I'm a little surprised. That's why some rural folk moved to the big city, you know, to be part of the action.
It's simple.
Ha! Wherever Benji goes, he brings the action. Best way to win every race is to never slow down. I knew students at the academy who would have said the same. They were lots of fun to be around. Oh yeah, I never spent too much time socializing, though. Pretty much kept... Excuse me. Plenty to keep you busy on the farm. Sounds about right. Well, maybe this is your big chance to see the world. I would have been happy to stay right at home, but no one burns down Benji's hometown without a fight. Besides, I'm always up for a challenge. That's good to hear. I'm sure the battles to come will challenge all of us. We need all the help we can get. Goodness gracious. Well, Benji doesn't pull punches. You won't have to worry about that. Just be sure to pace yourself. It's hard to improve when you're injured. I always pace myself, as fast as I can go. Scrape or two is nothing a healer can't handle. Oh, then you'd better stick close to one. Or you'd better keep up. Oh boy. Oh. Mother of Terra, what is that smell? Oh, Benji. Sorry about that. I just finished up some barbecuing? Okay.
Ooh, let me get some of that.
What are you saying sorry for? No need for that if you've got some to share. Yeah, that's just it, Benji. What? What's just it? I don't. You don't want to share? It's more that I sort of, you know, ate it. That. Hey, don't look at me like that. I didn't know you were a man of such refined taste. Next time, I'll make enough for the both of us. How's that? When's next time? Next time I have a fresh kill. You get those a lot. As often as I can. Don't forget.
Relax.
Alright, tough guy. Relax. I won't. Oh. Hey, Benji. I just wanted to tell you, what you did back there at the aqueducts, charging in like that all by yourself, I thought that was super brave.
Hey, thanks.
Haha. Thanks, Sophia. Honestly, I didn't even think about it, if you can believe that.
Wish I could do that.
Wow, so it was just like a natural instinct for you? Exactly. No better way to describe it. Sounds like you've always had a warrior spirit in you.
Come on. I'm
Absolutely.
surprised.
In fact, I already just happen to be wearing Dad's old armor. was really good thinking. Is he a warrior too? Oh yeah, I've got a big legacy to live up to, with him being a war hero and everything. So when enemies started attacking the aqueducts, I knew I had to defend my home. Who else would have, you know? Doesn't Red Hill have a militia? I mean, aren't there people who are supposed to defend it if it comes under attack? Like a garrison? Yeah, we might have had one of those, but they knew they wouldn't stand a chance without me. Besides, they were probably too busy defending the aqueducts. That makes sense. You definitely made a big difference in the battle. I should hope so. After all that trading, I'm glad to have something to show for it.
Nothing less than the best.
I think that proved to everyone that I'm ready to make a profession out of my skills. It's time to show the world what Benji's got. Yeah! Woohoo! You've chosen a life of adventure then, Benji.
Benji!
Benji's had that choice made. It's in his bones.
Are you sure?
So joining us is just a step along the way of fulfilling your divine destiny? Yeah, that's a good way to think about it. I see. Life on the road has its difficulties, you know. You never know when you'll return home, and sometimes you wonder if you ever will. It's not going to stop me. Other days, you're not sure where you'll sleep once the sun sets, or where your next meal might crop up.
Nothing less than the
Not a
best.
problem for Benji. I brought a bedroll and enough corn on the cob to last me a long
You're
time.
really something.
At the rate you go through those, you'll need a caravan to transport that much corn. Dot. You didn't hire a caravan, did you?
No way!
No. Should I? You might still be able to find one. You do eat other things, don't you?
Simple!
Oh yeah, it's just sort of power food for me. But I'm not picky. In that case, I think we'll be alright. Minus the caravan.
Hey, thanks!
So you'll help me carry some? It's not exactly what I meant. I take it you're the son of Benji... Best in class? Best in class. Best in class. If that's intentional, I love that.
Benji!
Yes, ma'am. How'd you figure that one? The name? Anyway, my father knew yours when they were younger. I'm not sure if yours ever told you about it. Were they in the army together?
No.
Not quite, no. Well, most of the stories my dad tells are from his army days, so I don't know if I've heard. Wasn't your father the only one, only in the army for a year? Yep. He always used to say he made more memories in that year than the rest of his life combined.
Oh, come on.
I see. So he never told you about Henry Valmiran?
No way!
Oh. Henry? We talked about him all the time. How do you know him? He's my father.
Whoa!
Oh. Whoa! Didn't even realize. Sloane Valmiran, Henry Valmiran. Makes a right bit of sense now that I think about it. Gee, I promise I don't always miss things like this. It's alright, Benji. We all have our strengths. Yours just happen to be mostly physical.
Hey, thanks!
You could say that again. In fact, I think I'd really like to hear it again. Down, Tiger. Great Terra, Brooke. Great Terra, Brooke. You are one scary lady. Am I?
Blast.
Ooh. To most people, I mean. It takes a lot more than that to scare Benji. Is that so, Did I ever tell you how I got this scar on my ankle? I don't think so. If you look carefully, you'll see they're bite marks from a man. I strangled him to death with my leg as I hung from the ceiling.
No way!
What did he do? He looked at me in a strange way, kind of like how you're looking at me now.
Whoa!
Whoop! I'm sorry, Brooke. Really sorry. Honest, I didn't know. Benji, I'm kidding. He was a slaver. No. Well, I definitely don't do anything like that. Good. That should keep assassins like me off your back. For the most part.
Hey, thanks!
Got it. Thanks for the tip. I gotta go get a workout in, but it was great to chat. See ya. Poor kid. Still a bit more. Brooke, I'm glad you managed to keep everyone alive. Brooke did nothing. I don't know what you're talking about. Didn't make it easy. Each of them seems to have a knack for getting into trouble. We said we'd pay, but we never said it would be easy.
No.
No, your mother said you'd pay, and to protect you, not a spy on a detachment of Delian troops. More than anything, I'm lucky you're alive, or there'd be nowhere safe on Terrazel to hide from her wrath. My mother's really not a wrathful person, Brooke.
You can't be serious.
That's right. She was probably just ignorant of my reputation as a cold-blooded assassin. I'm sure if you and Sarah wound up dead, she'd tell me not to lose sleep over it and pay me something for my troubles. Alright, I see your point. Hard not to. Well, what matters is we're back together now. Hopefully for good. We'll see about that. What I'm more concerned about are the aspects. I'm surprised Sarah would trust Delian troops enough to actually wield them. I wouldn't worry too much. This seems to be a relatively harmless, inexperienced bunch. Except for that Lincoln fellow. He's got a real stick up his... Brooke, please, not so loud. Or what? He'll insist on defending his honor with a duel? That could be fun. Now who's getting into trouble? No, you're no fun. Good. It's not what we're here for. Now come on. Let's rejoin the others before they suspect us of plotting something. Maybe we should be plotting something. Brooke.
Can't trust them.
Never hurts to have a backup plan. Princess? Samara works fine, Marin. Sorry, I just didn't want to be rude. You could do a lot worse. That's probably true. Anyway, I just want to tell you, I really admire your leadership, and your sisters. You're both such naturals that you make it look easy. Seriously? We couldn't even agree amongst ourselves half the time. But you speak with authority, and when you do, people listen. Especially your own people.
If you say so.
It took us all of our lives to garner that kind of reputation. Plenty of leaders have tried for longer and failed to even come close to what you have. Besides, you're still pretty young, aren't you? Yes, we are. Sarah's always happy to remind me of that. Yep. I think that's the duty of an older sister. But I always tell Alden it isn't good to be... But I always tell Alden, isn't it good to be young anyway? Yes and no. It has its advantages and disadvantages. It just is what it is. It is a very practical way of looking at things. Even a princess has to come down to Terra once in a while, right? Longer one. Say, Helena, what is that you're working on there? Working might be an overstatement here. This is leisure.
Could've fooled me.
Uh-huh. What is it you're leisuring at there? Knitting. It helps calm my mind. Doesn't look at all calming to me. Your hands are moving at 100 miles a minute. Speed is relative, Sia. Where I, a beginner, could go a tenth as fast and feel the stress of the action tenfold. I have spent a great deal of time knitting, and thus, even a quick pace is relaxing to me. Never thought I'd hear someone make knitting sound scary. I think you and I have different definitions of fear. I think you're the only person I've met that actually has a definition for fear. Fair enough. Would you mind teaching me?
I wonder.
It depends. Would you mind learning? Not sure. I think we would figure that out together. I'm curious to see. Let us be on with it. Oops. I can't believe you just pulled that off. We pulled that off, Garrick. I'm letting you take the occasional credit for my genius. We've been over this.
You sure?
So now we wait. This is too good. What if Lincoln walks in before Bianca does? He won't. I memorized their schedules. Bianca is going to freak out. Oh, Bianca is going to freak out when she thinks Lincoln has really been in love with her this whole time. Where did you learn to forge handwriting like that? Do you have any idea how many drunken love letters I've had written to me? Let alone the countless ones that were given to me to pass on to someone else? You read the ones for other people?
Really?
Of course I do. Sometimes I'd even chase a little detail to ruin them or make them better. It was a good hobby, really. That is positively evil. But I only change ones that obviously have no chance or needed the help.
You're really something.
That doesn't make it any better. Letters are private.
Can you not?
What's got up your pants today? Are you forgetting you were just all in for us forging a love letter to Bianca? That was before I realized the framework came from other people's suffering.
Oh, come on.
Oh, don't be so dramatic. Half of them didn't even remember writing them the next day. What are you hiding now? Well, maybe I'm working on a letter of my own.
Could have fooled me.
Hold your horses. You what now? I said maybe I'm working on a letter of my own. And you thought it was a good idea to tell me this?
Hardly.
Of course not. But you yelled at me to tell you, so I did. Fair. I do that sometimes. Who would this letter happen to be for? Wouldn't you like to know? I would. Sloane, I've been meaning to ask. You ever get tired of the whole rich and haughty visage? Allow me to think on it for a moment. Do I ever get tired of being rich? Of course not. But haughty then? Surely sometimes it has to feel a bit much. I think that's a reach. You hardly know me at all, yet you presume you understand how I feel in the day-to-day?
Hardly.
Never said I understand you. Never said I know you. Just think it must get real tiresome pretending to be so high and mighty.
That's cute.
Pretending? Right. Do you ever get tired of being right all the time? Funny thing about that, I actually do. Do you know how hard it is to be the smartest, most handsome person around? Funny thing about that, I actually do. Alright, we'll have to to disagree then. Maybe over tea?
You're not half bad.
Wow, I'm speechless. Your originality and approach are impressive. Truly.
You're really something.
Let me down easy, why don't you? Nerves don't help. I'm a lowly peasant, remember? Are you really never gonna let me live that down? I was having an awful day. I have awful days too. I don't berate people for their social status because of it. Yeah, I know. Would you believe me if I said I'm working on it? Are you being sincere when you say it? Honestly, I'm not entirely sure. How does one work on being an insufferable brat? Very carefully, I guess. Though I wouldn't say you're insufferable, or a brat. My face, at least. Not at all. Oh, goodness. Not at all. You grew up under different circumstances than I did. Who am I to judge?
I'm intrigued.
That's an awful mature stance for you. Where's my young bravado-filled warrior with poor flirting
I'm
skills?
all in.
Oh, him? Nice guy. Handsome in a sort of frustrating way, you know? Wish I was that handsome. Might be able to get him to meet you for tea. Deal. Fantastic. Smooth. You've surprised me, Irving. Pleasantly. I hope you'll excuse me if I'm unsure what you mean. How so? When Sophia and I joined your group, I wrote you off. Standard, overzealous soldier type. It's very kind of you to say, Sloane. The highest praise one can receive. Standard. I was wrong, though. It doesn't take a stunning intellect to see that. Understood. Tell me, what is it you see... What is it you see now? Chance in the world I'm telling you that. Dot dot. Why not? He bites. let me give you a little advice, Irving. If a woman tells you how great they think you are, they're probably lying to you. We aren't honest creatures. Sloane, I hate to break it to you, but I think that's more of a you thing. Maybe so. But you don't think I missed you implying that I'm great? I did no such thing. Sure you did. It just wasn't on purpose. Or was it? Well, and there we go. Another set of pawns down. We'll be back in, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4, maybe 5 more battles. And we'll see where they go from there.